Citation Creation, Paraphrasing and In-Text Citation, Part 3, IDT 995, Scholarly Project, Nancy Olson. Summative Evaluation Goals and Objectives. To implement the field test, assess instructional effectiveness to include the quiz and the discussion, to assess instructional appeal, and to find and correct errors and weaknesses in the instruction. Methods and Data Collection Protocol, 3 classes. English 1C, Critical Thinking and Composition, required, 40 points. Bottom 3, Entrepreneurship, extra credit, 40 points. Child 25, Teaching in a Diverse Society, extra credit, 20 points. Tutorial Specifications. A Canvas module, which is self-paced, a quiz to check knowledge acquisition, a discussion to check knowledge application. Students who completed the quiz only were given partial credit. Data Analysis Results, General Information. In Bottom 3, there were 12 total students, 5 students who completed the quiz and 1 student who completed the quiz and the discussion. In Child 25, there were 31 total students, 23 students who completed the quiz, and 13 students who completed the quiz and the discussion. In English 1C, there were 10 total students, 8 students completed the quiz, 7 students completed the quiz and discussion, for a total of 21 students who completed both aspects of the module. General information continued. Some students were granted a second attempt, so although we only had 36 students attempting the quiz, we had 43 attempts total. Classes were aggregated to ensure a sample size of at least 20, with 10 students each in the upper and lower group and the remaining students in the middle group. The data was manipulated in Microsoft Excel, and questions 6, 7, 19, and 20 were graded on the Multiple Ability Index as they used conceptual level knowledge. The questions that failed the item difficulty index and/or the item discrimination index were rewritten. Those questions were 3, 6, 7, 15, and 19. The non-functional distractors were also rewritten. 1D, 3C, 6A, 7C, 15D. They were rewritten by removing extraneous information, making them shorter, and bringing them closer to the correct answer so as to make them a more functional distractor. The overall quiz statistics are 12 students total in Bottom 3, active students 5 for a percentage of 42%. The average was 70, the high was 95, and the low was 45. The average completion time was 20 minutes and 26 seconds. In Child 25, there were 31 students, 23 students who took the quiz for a percentage of 74%. The average was 72, the high was 95, and the low was 25, with an average completion time of 9 hours, 8 minutes, and 52 seconds. In English 1C, there were 10 total students, 8 active students for a completion rate of 80%. The scores were 73% for average, 95% for high, 50% for low, with an average completion time of 6 hours, 55 minutes, and 75 seconds. The quiz distribution for all attempts versus one attempt shows that giving multiple attempts does not change the A and B grades. It slightly modifies the C and D grades, but also increases the failing rate. The discussion board completion statistics were: 1 student completed the original discussion in Bottom 3. Unfortunately, he had no one to discuss with, and so he did not do a reply. In Child 25, we had 10 students who did an original discussion with the reply, 3 students who did only an original discussion, and 10 students who did no discussion at all, for a completion rate of 57%. In English 1C, we had 7 students who did an original discussion with reply and 1 student who did no discussion, for a participation percentage of 88%. The total participation percentage was 58%. The rubric did fail the difficulty index, but not the discrimination index, but I do believe that the rubric was a failure as it did not adequately test for the appropriate items. Therefore, it has been rewritten. On the in-text statistics, we have much better news. We now have 5 APA students, 5 MLA students and 9 who, although they did an incorrect in-text citation method, did do one. We're now down to only 10% of our students who do not understand that they need to have an in-text citation. The rubric was rewritten to be less intimidating to better assess learning outcomes. It now measures a beginner level understanding of paraphrase creation. There is an added credit for in-text citation and for community building and reinforcement. The point value was also increased. Comparing these, we can now see that the old rubric was worth 20 points and the new rubric is worth 30 points. This is appropriate as this is the harder part of the assessments. From 4 categories to 3 categories, from 5 points per category to 10 points per category, from a high skill level in paraphrasing being assumed to a beginner skill level in paraphrasing being assumed. The focus on the paraphrase components in the original, accurate, objective, and complete is now modified so that there is an equal focus between paraphrase creation, in-text citation, and community building and reinforcement. Extra credit completion rate was just 50%, but when it was a required assignment, it was 88%. Clearly, there is a significant difference between an extra credit and a required assignment. Some of the engagement comments are, "Hi DL, this exercise did seem really tough to me in the beginning, but after reading all the explanations all the way to the end of the 3rd module repetitively, the last one seemed a lot easier." "Hi NS, you did a great job on your paraphrasing. After reading yours, I have a better understanding on the ways to rewrite a sentence and shorten it to have meaning." Future applications in spring of 2018 session 2 will have a second field test and a second summative assessment by the end of the spring 2018 semester. Revisions that are required will be implemented and the instruction will then be added to the teacher repository and the tutorial center, while it will undergo regular review. References: Columbia College, A. Goldrick, Techniques for Paraphrasing, Holmes L., Barstow Community College District, 2015-16 Factbook. Library, Pilgrim. Paraphrasing Techniques, retrieved November 9, 2017. State Pen for the library guides for APA and MLA. TU Ed for quoting, paraphrasing, and summarizing. And finally, welcome to Purdue OWL. What is plagiarism and what is the correct way to paraphrase? Thanks and have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the flip side.